And now with more on politics is founder and CEO of Yad La'olim and former MK, Rabbi Dov Lipman. Hi, Dov.
Hi, Amit. Nice to be with you.
Nice to be with you. So Netanyahu again trying to calm voters down by saying he'll keep the religious status quo in check. But again, can citizens rely on his word?
So I'm here at the Knesset today, and the tension is palpable. You can feel it in the cafeteria. You can feel it in the meeting rooms. There definitely is a fear amongst the opposition parties of a massive shift that's going to be taking place. I will tell you that amongst the coalition partners, they say they don't have any intention on trying to impede on the lives of anyone who lives a secular lifestyle, but they're trying to improve the lives or even give certain benefits to the religious who are living a religious lifestyle, but not at the expense of anyone else. So Netanyahu certainly understands that he can't allow things to go too far to the extreme. And the moment anything starts to interfere with the secular Israel's personal lives, the damage will be so great that it actually will make it very difficult to govern. So I think all in all, in the end, he's trying to find a way to pacify the religious parties, to bring them on board while not interfering too much with the life of anyone else in Israel.
Now, the Knesset also has a new Likud speaker, Yariv Levin. He's in a marathon effort to pass several laws that make it possible to meet all of the coalition agreements. Is that a normal situation?
It's not a normal situation at all. The fact that we've gone way over a month since the election and the incoming government was not able to put in its own speaker is extremely unusual. It happens immediately and enables them to begin to start a legislative process of some kind. And now Netanyahu has less than a week till his mandate to form a government runs out to pass through these areas of legislation. The members are going to be here in committee rooms like I'm in right now till early hours of the morning. They'll be sleeping here. In the end, the coalition is capable of doing whatever it wants to do, but it's going to be requiring day after day of all-nighters to be able to get it done. And the opposition will obviously do whatever it can to delay it, to try to stop it from happening by the time the mandate runs out. But if you're asking me, in the end, will they succeed? They will succeed in this building. The next step, though, will be challenges to these laws that will be made in the courts. And that's going to happen the moment these laws go to their final votes.
My question was definitely if you see it succeeding. And now incoming Interior Minister Aryeh Deri is Shas leader and he's central to the coalition, but he also has a conviction and suspended sentence for tax evasion. Isn't it crucial that he be allowed to serve?
There's no possible way that he's going to allow this government to be formed if he is not a minister. And like you mentioned, he's going to be a minister with tremendous powers over numerous different areas of Israeli life. That is going to be one of the laws which will absolutely be challenged in court, because the current law seems to be very clear that a person has to wait 7 years following a conviction of this kind in order to serve as a minister. There's no doubt there are many Israelis who are very wary in general of someone who has been found guilty on a plea bargain of corruption charges being in charge of all of these budgets and areas of Israeli life. But if you're asking me, is it necessary for them to pass this law to form the government? The answer is yes. It is absolutely a precondition from Shas. It will be challenged in court. Again, this is another area where I do believe they'll find a way to get through it. It just might be some judicial obstacles along the way.
He also has a tremendous amount of supporters, so I assume that's also a factor.
Well, one of the arguments that the coalition is making is this was a democratic election and 64 mandates chose this, and the Shas party received 11 seats. And what right does anyone have to dismiss the right of the voter? And that's why it comes down to a legal question of what does the law say? We're not getting into a moral argument here, but it's the law. And that's why they do have the opportunity as a governing coalition to change a legislation. Many people say, but you're making personal legislation as a precondition to a new government. That should not be allowed. But at the end, you are correct. There was a democratically elected government. They have a majority. The coalition can scream. They can make it difficult. But when it's all said and done, this incoming coalition can do whatever it chooses to do. And the courts will have a difficult time intervening with that.
Yes, and I'd like to get one more question in. Otzma Yehudit leader Itamar Ben-Gvir is taking over the new Ministry of National Security, and with expanded powers of the border police and apparently added control over the police, maybe he can make a real change for the better. Doesn't that make sense?
There's no doubt that one of the mandates this government has is hundreds of thousands of people who said we don't feel safe, and we trust Ben Gvir specifically to be the one to make order. And that is the argument that this coalition is making. There was a fascinating committee hearing today where the chief of police was there as well, and he said we cannot have a situation where a minister is the one who's calling all the shots, and I just have to say yes to whatever he demands. I do believe that the two of them can come to a working agreement. I will also tell you, many police officers are looking forward to some of the changes that Ben Gvir wants to make, including enabling them to engage with potential terrorists, criminals, when they're in acts against the people of Israel. And they do look forward to perhaps greater salaries, more police force. So on the one hand, people are saying we can't give this minister all this control. On the other hand, there does seem to be a mandate from the population of Israel saying we specifically want them to have this control, and we want changes to be made so that we can have greater security in the streets of Israel.
Rabbi Dov Lipman, continue enjoying at the Knesset. Seems very enjoyable there now.
Definitely entertaining, a lot of popcorn, a lot of hours here. Hopefully in the end, we'll just have a functional, good, stable government that will make things better for all the people of Israel.
Amen. Thank you.
Thank you.